Hello friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report, because without you guys, this would be nothing. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on the picture of Sean Lee and Jobu right there so you can help spread the mojo. Now, I want to welcome you guys to a special edition of Fixing the Boys. This one goes out to you, Jerry Jones. This video is for you. So those great security guys that I met at the Star, share it with people in the front office. Make sure that Stephen Jones sees it. Make sure Will McKay sees it. Because this is the one thing that I believe the Dallas Cowboys can do to get to the Super Bowl. The second thing they need to do is make sure Jobu gets his refill. So I'll take care of that part. You guys, you take care of the other part. And I'll see you guys at the Super Bowl. Now, it's no secret that our Dallas Cowboys defense needs to improve in the pass rush. And as I've always said, if you're going to invest money, you get a bigger bang for the buck on the defensive line, because that defensive line will help all levels of your defense. A beast defensive lineman is going to occupy two players on the line, thus making the other guys one-on-one and having a better opportunity to get a sack. Second, going to help keep the linebackers clean so they can scrape and make moves on the running backs. Third, it's going to get the quarterback in there with happy feet. He's got less time to look around. It's less time for those routes to develop. And more than likely, if he's under enough pressure, he will either fumble the ball or make an interception. We're talking about game-changing plays, momentum-changing. Now, the philosophy that the Cowboys have had, which has not been a bad philosophy, is not to spend a lot of money in free agency. But sometimes, you've got to get a stud. Now, we've tried through the draft. DeMarcus Lawrence has shown flashes, although he's been staying injured lately. Had that really great season, but this season, not so much. Hopefully, he'll be able to get himself together for next year. But that's a question mark. Randy Gregory, a lot of potential. Show some great flashes in those last two games. However, don't have him for next year. The draft. We're drafting 28th. You don't know what the run's going to be on players. They say the draft is deep in pass rushers, and that may be true. But generally speaking, pass rushers take a couple of years before they become the really impact players that we need next year. When you look at the teams we're going to be placing, we've got a killer schedule. We're facing a lot of great quarterbacks. We've got Russell Wilson. We've got Arron Rogers. We've got Matty Ice. We've got, Kirk Cousins and everybody else in our division. We need pass rush help. So, with that being said, I still believe you get your war daddy in free agent. The reason you do that is you get a pass rusher in free agency, that opens up the draft for you. You are then able to take the best player available. It may be a cornerback that falls that you really like, or maybe a wide receiver, maybe even an offensive lineman. But then you can pick that best player instead of saying, I got to get a pass rusher, and maybe there's really not a great guy there that you really, really want. Or maybe there's a couple of guys that you want, and you can say, hey, we can get a cornerback, we can back up, get an extra pick, and maybe get that defensive lineman too that we were thinking about. It gives you options. So let's start talking about some of the names that have been out there for free agency. JPP, he's definitely the top dog as far as free agents go. He probably will be re-signed by the Giants. The Giants are looking to make that deal. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he is a free agent or becomes one. This past season, 53 tackles, 7 sacks. Really good numbers. Not bad at all. But they're saying he's looking for upwards of $75 million. A lot of change. Now, let's compare that to Michael Bennett. He's not going to be a free agent. Seattle just re-signed him for an additional 3 years for $31 million. He's 32 years of age. He got 34 tackles and 5 sacks. Still, that would definitely help our defense if we could get a guy like that. Cameron Wake, again, another guy who's not going to be a free agent. We're just using this for discussion purposes to get a market. Cameron Wake is 35 years old. He had 29 tackles this year and 11.5 sacks. Still, definitely an impact player. 35 years old, $19 million for 2 years. So basically, $10 million a year. Bennett, same thing, $10 million a year. So you compare that to what JPP is looking for. He's looking for more like 15. So that's kind of pricey. I had one person say that, oh, don't worry about Calais Campbell. Go for Demetrius Poe. He'll be a cheaper player to get. Well, Poe is really a defensive tackle, and he had 27 tackles and 1.5 sacks and 1 interception. That's not really the impact you need. Don't get me wrong. He's a fantastic player. He plugs up the middle, but that's not exactly what we need. We have guys that are similar to that with even better numbers on the team now. We're talking about needing impact. Okay. Chandler Jones from the Cardinals. He's set to be a free agent, but it looks like the Cardinals are going to tag him and sign him to a long-term contract. His numbers last year, 49 tackles, 11 sacks, and he's 26 years old. Definitely worth the money, okay? He's definitely a young guy that you're going to have for several years. So when we start talking about these guys, all these guys would make an impact on our team, with the exception of maybe Poe. So what I've been hearing when I've said that Calais Campbell would be a good fit for us, yes, he's 31 years old, or he'll be 31 years old next year. His last contract was 5 years, $55 million. So his last contract was about $11 million. So about the same range as everybody but JPP. But if you think that JPP would make a big impact on our team, here's the interesting thing that most people don't seem to realize. Because what they keep saying to me is, he's not really a pass rusher. He's old. You should get JPP. Really? Is that so? Because Calais Campbell had 1.5 more sacks than JPP. He also had 1 more tackle than JPP. But here's where it really gets interesting. Because he had 2 forced fumbles that JPP had none last year. He even had an interception. And I dare say he won't cost as much as JPP. Probably around the $10 million a year range. You sign for 3 years and all that. You get creative with it, and you actually can make a contract that is team friendly, that it may only be a $3 or $4 million hit for next year. So if you don't think he'd make an impact, then you really don't know football. Because see, he is a unique player, Jerry. He's the war daddy that you keep talking about. He's big. He's got a hellacious wingspan. Even if he doesn't get to the quarterback, just when he stands up with that 6'8" frame and puts those hands up in the air, he's like an eclipse. He blocks out daylight for the quarterback. And he's unique in the fact that he can play tackle. He can play end. He's a disruptor. You've got to put 2 guys on him. So when you think about having an impact, Jerry, think about having a war daddy, this guy is it. This guy is the real deal. And we've been through years and years and years of getting practice squad guys. We've been through the years of getting, lesser talent. And don't get me wrong, Rod Martinelli has done a fantastic job when taking guys that have been journeymen like George Selby, who in 4 years and 4 different teams had 4 sacks, and turned him into an 8-sack-a-year player. But the guy's ceilings are only so high. Give Rod Martinelli this guy and see what you get out of him. Because I'm telling you, Calais Campbell will be the difference maker for the Dallas Cowboys defense in the way that Reggie White was for Green Bay, and the way that Charles Haley was for the Dallas Cowboys to get that ring. So Jerry Jones, go get this war daddy. I'm Mark Holmes. That's Cowboy Jobu. And thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. And make sure, if you know Jerry Jones gets this video.
That's loaded too.
Big Jerry's on.
What you got?
You're in the line of cars.
Take me with you.